Hi guys, welcome back. I'm in a really old town today, a town called Delft. It's chocked full of history and chocked full of people. That's what I want to talk to you today about. You know, I realize more and more that people think that preppers are somehow crazy and just talking because they can talk. Let me show you some things what I want to say today. So this is Delft. You have rows and rows of houses. You got little ponds in between the houses. On the other side, you always have also rows of houses. And the strangest thing I want to say before I start, look at this car. How this car is parked along the water. I'm not sure how the heck they do this, but Dutch people must be the best drivers on the planet. They park all along the water. I think they just reverse in. So guys, had to get in out of the wind because we're expecting a big storm tonight and it was really too windy outside. So we're back in our own little town. So as I was saying, we are having an extreme big housing crisis here. The average house price is 400,000 euros. So if you're a starter, there is no way, even if you're with two people, that you can get on the property market unless you're making a lot of money. And the interest rates are also going up. So even if you're able to secure a mortgage, your payments will be so incredibly high that most people are still falling back into the rental market. The private rental market is so incredibly high, people aren't able to pay it. So there's a whole segment of our population that's being closed off to having a home. People are in our rich country. The Netherlands is a rich country. We have approximately 40,000 people that are homeless. There's people that are working a job and that can pay 700, 800 euros per month or more in rent, but there is nowhere for them to live. There's no housing. The government cannot keep up with the population growth. And not only that, the worst part, and believe me, don't come at me in the comments I'm not being empathetic for other people. We have this policy in our country that you can write in for social housing. So the government builds houses, and if you're not making a lot of money, you can get those houses. But there's so few and far in between that some people are on that list for 7, 10, 15 years already. But we also have a policy that when we get refugees in from Africa or now from Ukraine, that they have priority in getting these houses. So, for example, somebody can be on a list for 7 years, and then somebody comes from Syria and they get that house before our national people. Can you imagine that this is a powder keg ready to explode? People are angry. We already had protests in the streets in Amsterdam about this issue. Like I said before, a lot of times they like to think that preppers are conspiracy theorists, and sometimes in the comments people say you're stoking fear. But I promise you, most of the times the things I say, I sit back and see happen. So if you are able to get on the housing market, whether you buy something with family, with your partner, do it now because it's gonna become unaffordable. Unaffordable. Only the people that have a lot of money, the rich, I think even the middle class is gonna be shut out. So if you can do it now as soon as possible because there is going to be a big divide. And because of that big divide, there's going to be a lot of people that will be locked out of your basic human right to have somewhere to live, to own a piece of property, to have a home over your head. But this is not an issue only in my country. This is an issue everywhere. Governments cannot keep up with the growth of their population, the immigration into their countries where housing is concerned. There are long lines in Australia, hundreds of people lining up to get one home. In the US, it's the same thing. Homelessness because people cannot afford the prices of the houses, regardless if you have a job, regardless if you have two incomes, regardless if you're with two people and have four incomes. It's not affordable. Can you imagine what this is going to lead to? It's a pressure pot waiting to explode because people have nowhere to live and they are being shut out. Is your right. It is your right to have a roof over your head, and we have not enough houses. Can you imagine the United States is facing a shortage of more than 4 million homes, and 1 in 4 people pay more than half of their income in rent. Same thing in my country. We are facing a shortage of 400,000 homes. For example, the minute a house is on the market for sale, there are 300 people jumping on that house. So it's very difficult to find homes, and because of that scarcity, the price goes up. Same thing with the rental market. There's a scarcity of rental space, so that also pushes the price up. Starters have no chance. If you are lucky enough to already own your own home and that you can continue to pay your mortgage, but everything is completely locked down, and like I said, there's a whole segment of the population in different countries that are being shut out of growth, of wealth, and not only that, things that were available to people with a lower income, the things that were available for them to buy, affordable for them to buy, is also getting out of their reach. Yesterday I was in a grocery store, and you know, all my life I've always known that sardines and things in cans are things that are really cheap that people with a low income can buy. And look at these prices. A small can of sardines, a small can of salmon is somebody's hourly wage. This is unsustainable. Something has to give. Guys, let me know how it is in your country, and make sure you let me know what country you're writing from, and how is it in the housing market in your country. Is it really expensive? Is it unaffordable for starters? Kids staying home with their parents way into their 30s because there's no living space available. I'm really curious to know what's going on around the world.